Hello, my name is Peter Kleppe for Riks Europe here. Today is a big day in European politics. We had European Parliament elections on the 9th of June, and I think it's fair to say that one of the main takeaways from this was that the Green parties all across Europe have been suffering heavy losses. Now, it looks like both European leaders and the governments are not exactly taking this signal into account because, first of all, the nature restoration law was approved at the EU level. Against all odds, it looked like it was going to narrowly fail, but then suddenly Austria changed its position from neutral to in favor of voting for this law. The Green responsible minister in Austria, she decided to go against the position of her coalition partner and vote in favor of the proposed legislation anyway. This legislation will be very expensive for farmers, industry. It's basically imposing a whole range of extra obligations on EU member states. It allows judges to come up with creative interpretation that will be very expensive for European GDP growth. We have often seen that in the past. So a big problem. Now the coalition partner in Austria of the Austrian Chancellor, Nehammer, they claim that what the minister has done is unconstitutional. Now, at the moment, the Belgian government is chairing the EU Council presidency. And it's a bit complicated, but in Belgium there are regional governments and there's a federal government. So for this specific file, the regional minister for the Brussels region was tasked to chair the meeting. His name is Alain Marron, and he just suffered a massive victory in the Brussels regional elections. He lost 75% of his votes. So he has almost nothing to lose, and he decided to ignore the disagreement in Austria, the fact that the Austrian Chancellor had told him, look, do not let this vote happen because we do not agree with the position that the minister is claiming for Austria. The Green Brussels minister, he ignored this. He went forward with it anyway, and the result is that the nature restoration law is passed. Legally, it's very tricky to now come back on this. Imagine if every time you would have a vote that this would not be certain. If some problem back in the member state pops up later. So I'm afraid nothing much can be done against it anymore. However, maybe at the Belgian level, also unlikely, but we could have a close look if this Brussels minister was not violating any procedures by basically cooperating with what could be seen as some kind of a fraud at the EU level. Now, that's not the only thing that happened. There was a massive victory for the Greens today because one of their most solid allies at the European policy level, the European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, she is all but certain that she will be renominated, not re-elected, but renominated for a second term. Tonight there is an informal EU summit of EU leaders. And if you look at what political rights, if you look at the things that the Financial Times have heard from diplomats, these two newspapers are often quite well informed. It looks like all the diplomats are in favor now, or all the governments rather are in favor and have instructed their diplomats to support von der Leyen for a second term. This was not certain yet, specifically because the French president, Emmanuel Macron, he was quite skeptical about von der Leyen, but now because he has this election coming up in France, you would think it makes him less likely to support von der Leyen. I would think so, but in practice apparently he does not want to pick a fight about it, at least that's what we hear. And the leaders are likely to support von der Leyen informally tonight. They will formally support her then at the end of this month, and then on the 17th, I think, of July, the European Parliament will have to vote on it. Now, this vote will be secret, so just like 5 years ago, the Polish and Hungarian Eurosceptics, Mr. Orban, supported von der Leyen without anybody knowing really for sure, but all the serious sources confirmed that they did. It's likely that the also Eurosceptic party of Giorgia Meloni in Italy will also, in return for some unknown concessions, support von der Leyen. That will make it reasonably certain that she will have a second time. We will only know if this timetable is followed. We will only know that mid-July, but long story short, European voters vote against the Greens. What they get is more green policy.